Hey everyone, I've got a story that's been sitting with me for a while, and it feels like it's time to spill the tea. This all went down a few years back when I was the unofficial tech wizard at a call center that was basically a small town masquerading as a workplace. I handled everything from forgotten passwords to voicemails left in the wrong inbox. Now, in this buzzing hub of drama and daily crises, there were a few key players. Karen, the admin assistant who was as unproblematic as they come. Dave Johnson, a director with the charisma of a movie star and the decision-making power to match. And then there was Sarah. Sarah was another manager in this mix, and oh boy, did she bring the drama. One ordinary Tuesday, or so I thought, Sarah called me up, sounding all business at first. She needed help changing a voicemail password, routine stuff. But then, there was this shift in her voice, and she dropped a bomb on me. "I need a huge favor," she said, with a desperation that caught me off guard. "Can you delete a voicemail from Karen's box?" Alarm bells went off in my head. Deleting messages? That was a one-way ticket to a job search. I told her as much, but Sarah? She was undeterred. Through tears, she confessed to leaving a very personal message meant for Dave in Karen's mailbox by mistake. This was the kind of juicy gossip you'd expect to see on TV, not play out in real life. And let me tell you, my desk suddenly felt like the command center of a soap opera. Ah, yes, Sarah sobbing into the phone, begging me to play Digital Cupid and erase her steamy mistake before it detonated her life, and potentially others. Despite my better judgment, I found myself sucked into the vortex of her panic. "Please," she pleaded, "if Karen hears that message, it's not just me who's screwed. This could blow up everything." Sarah's desperation was palpable, the kind that made you want to help out of sheer humanity. But my job was on the line. Deleting that message was against all sorts of policies, not to mention the ethics of it all. I explained as gently as I could that my hands were tied. "I can't risk my job, Sarah. I'm really sorry." You could almost hear her heart crashing into her stomach. The phone call ended with a heavy click, leaving a silence that buzzed louder than the busiest day at the call center. Word around the office water cooler was that Sarah became a ghost of her former self in the days that followed. She was jumpy, always looking over her shoulder as if the voicemail would leap out and expose her at any moment. And then, just like in the movies, the inevitable happened. Karen and Dave's marriage hit the rocks. The whispers began, growing into a cacophony of rumors, speculation, and outright disbelief. The office became a breeding ground for drama, with alliances forming and dissolving faster than you could refresh your email. As for me, I was the unwilling keeper of the secret that lit the fuse, and let me tell you, carrying that knowledge was heavier than any technical manual I'd ever lifted. Karen and Dave's marriage was on the brink, and the call center had turned into a live episode of some reality TV show where everyone's watching to see what happens next. In the weeks following the revelation, the tension in the office was thicker than the burnt coffee in the break room. Karen, who had been the epitome of professionalism, carried on with an air of dignity that had everyone whispering their respect and sympathy as she passed. Dave, on the other hand, seemed to shrink with each passing day, the weight of his decisions etched deeply into his features. But it was Sarah who wore the most significant transformation. Gone was the confident manager who could command a room with her presence. In her place was a woman walking on eggshells, her eyes darting around, always on edge. It was as if she was waiting for the other shoe to drop, but instead of one, it felt like an entire closet was about to come crashing down. The office dynamics shifted dramatically. People who once shared jokes and weekend plans now exchanged cold nods and tight-lipped smiles. Teams that were once tight-knit groups splintered under the weight of whispered judgments and unspoken sides taken. And then, as if the universe hadn't had enough fun at our expense, Dave and Sarah started showing up to work together. Yep, you read that right. Not long after the divorce was finalized, they were officially a couple. And if you thought it was awkward before, well, let's just say we had entered a whole new level of workplace discomfort. Every meeting, every shared project became a minefield. Conversations were carefully navigated to avoid the personal landmines that dotted our landscape. It was like watching a ballet of avoidance, with everyone pirouetting around the elephant in the room. Through it all, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt. Was there something more I could have done? Some way to prevent the fallout? I was just the tech guy, sure. But in a way, I had been the gatekeeper to Pandora's box, and now it was wide open. As the dust began to settle on the call center's personal earthquake, a bizarre new normal took shape. Imagine walking into work every day, where the remnants of a soap opera played out in real time among the cubicles and headsets. That was us, trying to navigate through our tasks while sidestepping the personal landmines that now littered the floor. Dave and Sarah, now the call center's most controversial couple, seemed to live in a bubble, oblivious or perhaps just indifferent to the ripples their relationship caused. Their togetherness was a constant visual reminder of the scandal, making even the most mundane tasks feel loaded with unspoken words and stifled emotions. Karen, ever the epitome of grace, somehow managed to maintain her composure through it all. If she harbored any bitterness or anger, she kept it well hidden, focusing on her work with an intensity that earned her quiet nods of admiration from even the most gossip-hungry colleagues. But let's talk about the office dynamics for a sec. Prior to the explosion, it was like any other workplace. Cliques, coffee buddies, the usual suspects for happy hour. Post-scandal, it was like walking onto the set of a high school drama. You had Team Karen, a solid group who rallied around her, offering everything from silent support to barely concealed glares in Dave and Sarah's direction. Then there were the neutrals, folks who either genuinely didn't care or deserved Oscars for their performances of indifference. And of course, there were the few who aligned with Dave and Sarah, viewing their relationship through a lens of true love triumphing over adversity, much to the skepticism of pretty much everyone else. Amidst this, my role as the tech guy took on new dimensions. Beyond troubleshooting email issues or resetting passwords, I became an unintentional confidant. People would come up under the guise of needing technical help, but linger to air their thoughts on the latest developments. My desk, once a beacon for IT woes, had become the water cooler spot for dissecting the ongoing saga. Through it all, I couldn't shake the feeling of being an observer in a reality show I never signed up for. Watching the office politics unfold was like witnessing a social experiment in real time, a study on how personal affairs can ripple through a workplace and reshape the social fabric in unexpected ways. As the seasons changed and the office drama gradually became less of a daily headline and more of a chapter in our collective history, I found myself reflecting on the entire saga. The dust had settled. Life at the call center had found a new rhythm, and yet the story of Karen, Dave, Sarah, and yes, even the role I played, lingered in the air like a song whose melody you can't quite forget. The experience was a stark reminder of how closely intertwined our personal and professional lives can become, especially in a high-pressure environment like a call center. It taught us lessons in empathy, judgment, and the often underestimated impact of our actions on those around us. For Karen, moving forward meant throwing herself into her work, and eventually, into new opportunities that took her talents to a place where the past wasn't a shadow over her every achievement. Her resilience and grace through the storm became a sort of legend in the office, a benchmark of character and strength. Dave and Sarah, for their part, navigated the waves of office opinion and the consequences of their actions with a determination to prove that their relationship was more than just a scandal. Whether they ever truly won over the skeptics is up for debate, but they did seem to find a semblance of normalcy in their day-to-day lives, showing perhaps that even the most controversial stories can find their equilibrium. And me? I came out of the whole experience with a new perspective on the role I play in people's lives, even in a professional setting. Being the tech guy wasn't just about fixing issues. It was about being a part of the human fabric of the office. I learned about the weight of secrets, the complexity of human emotions, and the importance of staying true to one's ethical compass, even when the pressure is on. In the end, the saga of our little call center became a testament to the idea that while work might bring us together, it's the human connections and the choices we make that truly define our experiences. It's about finding a way to move forward, not just in our careers, but in how we relate to one another on a human level. As I share this story, it's not with a sense of gossip or reveling in past drama, but as a reflection on the lessons learned and the reminder that, at the end of the day, we're all just people trying to do our best, both in our personal lives and in the cubicles and offices where we spend so much of our time.